Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Hidden Flame. Welcome back for another episode of Final Fantasy XIV. Now, for those of you who aren't in the know, if you want to see the the playthrough I did to get to where I am, please go check out the other channel until I can get my levels or have all those videos imported over to this channel. But for now, this is how we're gonna have to do it. I do have a Coda with me. She's being quiet. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start. This is patch 5.4. Apparently, it's supposed to be large, so hopefully this will be a couple of videos. I'm gonna try and set these for about an hour a piece, unless I am doing something specific, like I'm stuck in a dungeon or whatever. But yeah, we're going to leave it at that. So let's go. And I won't be running uh, tank. I'm going to be running healer. I've been enjoying healer, but if I can't do anything, I will run. Uh, I'll run tank. So I think that is. Let's see. What's highest? Oh, they're about one apart, so should be fine. What's up, Cryo? Oh, greetings, Hidden. Come to look in on your friends. Rest assured, everyone is quite well. Been, I've been keeping close eye on them. I've been keeping a close eye on them, and I have satisfied myself that they are all in fine health. As a matter of fact, they're just about to convene in Dawn's Respite to discuss how best to use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we? Please let it be a voice.
Well, my friends, now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I've a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat, not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Welcome back, everyone.
Alize! Or no, Lace.
Reese.
Lise! It's been a while. Yay! There's my girl.
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
The famous Lise Hext, former scion and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
Oh, someone's got a crush.
I don't believe we've met.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
Grahatir, at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the first. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it. Well, well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes. Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak. And it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
But tell us, Lys, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough? Alright, there was one other matter. I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire. So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne. The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it, and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble. The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald. And we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Ah, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the Tempered.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you used to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alizé, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
I like stuffy meetings.
Rest assured, there'll be many, many more. Go on, lend Alizé a hand.
come too. If you don't mind, that is.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
Oh, they don't realize she teased the hell out of everybody.
We shall be on our way then. Godspeed.
That's why we like Ishola. Okay, where are we going, Alice? When I set out to save Ulrich, I think Gabu was at the back of my mind. And having proved the light corrupted are not lost, I am convinced that the same must be true for the tempered. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the aether of Gabu's soul has been rendered stagnant. And though, through the root cause is, and though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, Alize, and it warrants full investigation. If there is a chance we can save Gabu, we have to try. But however much I'd like to race over to Limsa and set to work, there is no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. I am sure Becklug would remind us if we still know little and less about the soul. As I'm sure Becklug would remind us, we still know little and less about the soul, and any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. And so, before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. There is one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined groundwork of the many scholars involved don't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not of the modern scholars, perhaps, but what of their ancient counterparts? I know the Allegans took a more than passing interest in the subject. And if what we seek is to be found anywhere, I'm sure, it would surely be at the Aetherochemical Research Facility. Why? Where they experimented on primals and their worshippers? Yes? Good thinking. I've never actually been there myself, but I did the reports on God, I can't remember half these words. Azai's Law. As a law, God, whatever. Which means we'll be needing an airship. An airship, you say? Uh-oh. Meet me at the north bank of Lake Silvertear. I've got a little surprise for you. And come prepared to travel. Uh-oh. Confused? Oh, god dang, my key. Oh, I have it set a certain way. Okay. I have it set to the mouse being moved as my form of turning. Cool. Why walk? Taru! Tataru. Is that the Enterprise? I give you the Bonanza, the Scion's very own airship. I built her as a company project to help from our friends at the Rising Stones and named her for luck and prosperity. Uh, Tatara, this is amazing. We have to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments weren't impressive enough, but to build an airship, I see the annals did not exaggerate the many talents of the Scion's fabled coinkeeper. I also introduced myself as your pilot, except the training didn't go quite well as I hoped, but that's alright because I hired this capable fellow here instead. The Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters. By the way, feel free to use them to get around Azala. But enough talk, time to fly. All aboard! Honestly, Sid would be jealous of the way that airship flies. Tataru has outdone herself. Anyway, here we are on Azala, and Alpha No's report did not do the scale of this place justice. Seriously, people? It appears to be Helix, which means we stand in the Alpha Quadrant. To the east lays the Beta Quadrant, and yes, I believe I have my bearings. Though this is my first time on Azala, I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records of the Crystal Tower. Unless I'm mistaken, this path leads to an aetheryte. Beyond there will be an information terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. Okay. Let's get rid of these. Since everything's pretty much a flyer now. No point having double up. I'm gonna bring in my dog. And here is the terminal. A moment while I search the archive for the reference to tempering. Ah, there we are. Iconic Corruption. An overview. Sounds promising. Indeed. Let's see what the report has to say. Confound it. The contents appear to have been deleted. What? No. Isn't there something you can do? Not from here, I'm afraid. But there may be another copy of the report elsewhere. The question is where to look. It says here that the report was written by someone named Owen. It is likely that he kept a copy? I would say it is a distinct possibility, assuming he was a researcher here. He will have the quarters. He would have had quarters in the Happisphere. We can ascertain the details at Happisphere Control. Let us return to the Bonanzai and avail ourselves of the mana cutters. We will need them to reach our destination. I forgot, you already have a suitable means of transport, don't you? No need to waste time accompanying us back to the ship. We'll see you at the Happisphere. Happisphere? Like habitat? Okay, I do have one. Where's my mana cutter? Come on, Coda, get out. If the late Owen did have a chamber here, this would be able to tell us its number. There, from what I recall the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of... Huh? Warning, evacuation orders presently in effect. Entry to the Happisphere is not permitted at this time. Foiled again. In all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the fourth umbral calamity. I doubt it will be lifted in the near future. Energy level critical. Returning to base for recharge. Surely there's some other way to gain access? Force, for example? Ere we resort to that, I have an idea. Were we to send a surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for a suitable energy source, the concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall that they are known to form at points to stagnate ether throughout the continent. You seem to recall? Are you honestly telling us that it was in the records too? Huh, I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned a lightning aspected aether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges that interfere with equipment. The minor detail, I grant you, but in my role of the caretaker of the Crystal Tower, there was no such thing as too much Allegan knowledge. Besides, my studies helped me feel connected to the source, the home. I must have exploited this facility 1,000 times. But to finally stand here with you two, tis more exhilarating than I can well express. Now then, the lightning shard. If I may, we split up and search the beta quadrant. Oh, but beware, sprites. They are wont to manifest where the aether is stagnant. And now you're just showing off. Which makes me think we should make a contest of this. First to return here with the shard wins. What do you say? Very well. I would be honored to come third. Be my honor to come third. Bravo! That was quite a show adventure. Why, the spectacle proved so enthralling that all my thoughts of the prize slipped my mind. I appear to have fortified our little race. Congratulations, the lightning shard is yours. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Huh? Is that you, Alize? What? No dramatic entrance? You've changed. Ah, you remember that? In my defense, I was caught up in the moment. It isn't every day you meet an honest to God's hero, after all. Well, the contest continues, so you better hurry back. Oh, but one thing. Thank you, Eden, for bringing me here. There's a fade right here? There you go, guys. It appears Eliseo had no luck, so the victory is yours. Congratulations. Now then, may I have the shard? What do you, what it what is it that makes you so much better finding things? What do you have that I don't? That is the question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect that we could both learn a great deal from Hidden, and not only about the secrets of adventuring, but come, we should attend to our mission. Excellent. The system responded exactly how intended. We have access to the hemisphere. Only one thing remains: the security system within. They should have. They should be triggered. Um, they could come to make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. I am, if I am right, my royal blood should allow me to venture unmolested. Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes. But if it doesn't, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out the first sign of trouble. Wish me luck. Well, nothing for it but to sit tight. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned, but iconic corruption and overview. Sounds like a stadium thesis. We all had to write one. Least you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of ether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alphino's was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say. He chose to write a lengthy discourse on our nation's duty to the world. A controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Charlene's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, a direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non intervention. Being a leading member of the Forum, our father was not happy. At the time, of course, Alphino was utterly convinced of his views and would cheerfully argue to the death with anyone who saw things differently, by which I mean the rows were long. To be fair for him, though, he's since learned to be a little more open minded. But deep down, he still holds fast to that one belief. I admire him for it. I should have liked to meet the young Alphino. For all it's worth, my thesis concerned the Allegan civilization as depicted in folklore. Oh, you're back. I didn't know you attended the stadium. I didn't. The thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. My peers at the students of Balsian convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to forbidden tomes. Though I considered it no more than a means to an end at the time, I will admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Good gods, the Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved. But enough of that. What is this the fruit of your foray? Yes, Owen's archive node. It was waiting for me in his chambers. Copy of his report survives. It would, if a copy of his report survives, it should be stored in this device. Shall we find out? Initializing, scanning for registered user. User not found. To proceed as guest, please complete biometric authentication. Verifying. Authentication complete. Guest identified as member of royal family. I am your most humbled service, your highness. It never ceases to amuse me. 'Tis but a pity the effect will not last forever. Doga and Unai said as much when they gifted me this gift. But until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Search archive for iconic corruption. One item found. Iconic corruption. An overview. Locked by the author. Please say password. Oh, go on, your highness. Tell them to note the password. Right, let's see. Glory be to Alag. Really? Long live Emperor Zindi. Password incorrect. Please try again. Confound it. Come now. Passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance, password. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. the notifi- the notion that the password could be something so insane would be laughable, if not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. Oh. What did you just call me? Uh, Wild Rose. Courage! Password incorrect. Again. Be warned that any further inappropriate behavior in the presence of His Highness will not be tolerated. Alright, that's it. We'll dismantle it, and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A simple misstep, and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax Machina to cooperation, it is them. Come, let us bring the node back to the Rising Suns. Damn it. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Rambo Bros didn't send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you, my proposal to seek his help is no pretext. However, much I'd like forward to see him again, him and everyone. But come, let's spin our way. Look at him. All but running. How sweet. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Ah, the heck with this. Wonderful news, Hidden. Tataru has contacted Sid on our behalf. He is on his way, even here as we speak. While we wait, I should very much like to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Kryle? Voice would be nice. As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss the best to respond to recent events in Garlemald. According to intelligence from our Doman allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Amid the chaos, the Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. My greatest concern to us is that Iliard, the legion aligned with Lord Nevra, it appears that they have received substantial funding, substantial financial backing from House Brutus. They're the ones who took Yatsuya and Arashi. The bodies. This bodes well. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urianger will be able to shed light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it unwise to interfere in the conflict. So, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gemilt, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Working with friendly factions among the Beast Tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore avenues of peace. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, it is not a problem easily solved. Lomencians in particular struggle in their efforts, and Alphino and Yashola have been called upon to aid them. As long as we are dealing with the Tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for the tempering, anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. And on that cheery note, why not make yourselves comfortable at Dawn's Respite? I'll show Sid in when he arrives. Sid, Wedge, Biggs. Sid. Forgive us for not coming sooner, my friend. As you have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering for a while. Oh, I would have, had you not fulfilled your promise. Ha! I still struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternative version of myself had already laid them bare, I dare say it frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something? What is it? Well. A treatment for tempering. And the next step, you need to find a password for the Saligan report. Just so, without an airy clue to guide us, we could be here forever. And still not guess correctly. And thus, we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we could help you, so I will. Once suitably configured, a Magitech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that this might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from the Rambros. The contents, and it contains an elegant dictionary. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to a terminal and set to work right away. Looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. Huh. Short and simple, just as they said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, my lady. Node, open report entitled Iconic Corruption, an overview, password freedom. Password accepted. Opening report. This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the altercation of the soul. I have one of those outfits. Said aether ordinarily exists in equilibrium, which mean to one element being the more prominent than other. But when the subject is exposed to the aether of an icon, it changes. Their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, the exposure to the aether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause the subject's aether to become aligned with the element of earth. As consequence, the subject would obtain heightened affinity with the earth-aspected magics, as well as the preternatural level of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. This changes undergone the changes undergone by the subject are not solely attributed to elemental alignment. However, further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes unbro- unbroadly changed or stagnant during the process. The stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon and the thoughts of whom to of whom come to consume their entire existence. In this manner, that the corrupted become worshippers of the icons, their prayers serving to further empower the entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I have set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance to protocol, summarily they were put to death. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but I was rejected, deemed non-essential by Lord Amon. I knew, I mean, though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped of rank and title, and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I record it in the hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not, and find a cure for the victims of iconic corruption. End recording. So not even the elegants were able to find a cure, or rather, were not given a chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. More importantly, it confirms that the stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. True, yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do naught but diminish the individual's fanatical fate. Indeed, it may well intensify it. No, we would somehow need to suppress the primal soul over this subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining its thrall. So there's no point in reviving their souls unless we can also restore their sense of self. But of course, memory transference. The process of the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation. That is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to tempering. Though, thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the in the incitements of false faith which would had come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see. The theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us identify suitable memories for reanimation. But if you are confident that you can adapt memory transference as required, I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home accumulated in literal bloodletting. They did. You are right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism. And I concede that the rather clumsy compromise I reach would not provide the basis for a cure. Then perhaps it's best we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reasons to be confident. You see, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics. Which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct years worth of tests within the space of a few days. In theory, there would be no doubt from how we identified the password. But it'll take more calculating power. A lot more. I honestly cannot say whether our equipment would be up for the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked the report behind a password? To keep prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait. A password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary would keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted this report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. Not unlike the memories of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology, or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief. Things are about to get very busy. Like we have you to help, eh? Oh, there he is. Right, with Tia, I configure the terminals. I want the rest of you to procure supplies, namely ceruleum to fuel the terminals and the ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers to go on a gathering spree. In that case, I trust you and Alize with the ceruleum. Here's a promissory note for each of you. Take them to the Sky Steel Manufactory in Ishgard and the cerulean processing plant in Thalen. The people there will give you what you need. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thalen. Or Thanalin. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. Please come back next week when we will be doing more. But for now, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.